Well, just what makes your city smart? Well, joining us to talk about that today, Larry O'Brien, Vice President, Research, ARC Advisory Group. Larry, welcome.
Thank you.
Larry, there's so much accent right now on smart cities, but one of the things I've noticed is there doesn't seem to be a consistent definition of just what a smart city is. So let's talk about that. Define the term for us, if you will. What is a smart city?
Yeah, that's one of the problems. There is no consistent definition of a smart city. I guess lots of cities could be considered smart. It's really any city that's adopted any kind of digital technology or smart systems. So that could be anything from smart lighting to smart elevator systems. You know, we had a presentation earlier today at the forum about IBM Watson, being used to help do predictive maintenance on smart elevators, which is all, new sort of IoT-based kind of stuff. But there's also a lot of legacy stuff out there that can also be considered smart. So we have some SCADA systems, for example, for water distribution, power transmission and distribution systems. These are all digital technologies that might not be exactly cutting edge or brand new. They could be 20, 30 years old or even older, but it's all part of this kind of smart cities infrastructure. So it's unique in that it's kind of this, amalgam of old technology and new technology. So that's kind of our definition of a smart city.
Well, you mentioned Internet of Things just now, IoT. Let's talk about how that has affected smart cities. What would you say?
Well, I think it's certainly increase the adoption of digital technology and smart city technology. Whenever you get a new wave of sort of new, attractive technology like IoT, was certainly a burgeoning market. So I think it's accelerated growth in smart cities. It's certainly accelerated a whole wave of new products and offerings. One example is smart lighting systems, for example. ARC recently completed a study on smart lighting systems. And basically, I think what IoT is doing is it's kind of making everything smarter, from emergency management systems to telecommunications systems and, even some of these cities that you go to that have citywide free Wi-Fi. So IoT's really created a huge boom in the adoption of smart city technologies, but it's also created a lot of challenges too. Probably the biggest challenge is cybersecurity. So with all this digital technology comes the need to be secure as well.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I'm hearing as I'm speaking to people here at the forum is that this kind of technology is not just a nice to have, but really in this day and age, it's more or less a must-have. Certainly for many types of cities. Well, if that's true, let's talk about the business drivers that are really making it an imperative. What are they? What would you say?
Yeah, so we hear a lot about improving the citizen experience, or the visitor experience, which today we're here in Orlando, right? So the visitor experience, I'm sure, is pretty high on the list, but I think for us at ARC, there's probably some more pragmatic concerns, and one of those is, reducing maintenance costs. That's a big thing with smart lighting and LED lighting systems, right? You don't want to have to send somebody out, for example, to fix a street light. If you're not sure which street light is broken or where it is, or, for example, what kind of a replacement light bulb you need. So a lot of these people are driven by some very basic concerns of, I want to send the right person out to the right asset at the right time with the right part, to replace it. So a lot of it's driven by, they want to reduce maintenance costs. They want to reduce, in the manufacturing world, you call it downtime, right? Obviously, we don't want to see, lighting systems go down or have a disruption in the water supply, for example. So those sorts of concerns are also paramount. And also health and safety concerns as well. So that's why we see adoption of more sophisticated emergency management systems and dispatch systems and things of that nature.
You mentioned cybersecurity a little bit earlier, and I didn't mean to pass over that. In fact, I want us to drill down into that for just a moment, because let's talk about the headwinds or the obstacles that implementation of this kind of technology are out there and that make it difficult to deploy. Is cybersecurity one of those issues?
I think so. It's an issue that's not real well understood. There's a lot of vulnerabilities out there. I think if we look at the manufacturing world, there's a little bit more of a focus on really tight cybersecurity. When it comes to the world of smart cities and that's kind of getting up into the world of more commercial Internet of Things technology, we've all heard these stories about wireless cameras getting hijacked or becoming part of a distributed denial of service attack and so forth. So cybersecurity is a big concern. I think the other big concern is money and investment, right? This technology costs money. There needs to be, a solid return on investment, a solid business case. So if I'm a city or a municipality, I'm really going to have to put some thought into, if I'm going to invest in this kind of technology, what kind of a return am I going to get out of that technology? And we believe there is a solid return, but that needs to be articulated.
Well, I was just going to ask you that because I know that ARC is doing a lot of research into this area. Are your findings that the ROI is there for the municipality, the city that is looking to make this investment, no matter how onerous that may be up front?
Yeah, certainly the ROI is there. Of course, you have to do these projects the right way. You have to do your homework. You have to evaluate all the different vendors and suppliers that are out there. For example, we just did a study on smart lighting, and in one of the figures that we have, it's a smart lighting vendor map, and there's got to be about 150 different suppliers in there. This is a space, because it's such a newly forming space, you've got hundreds and hundreds of vendors out there, so there's still a lot of room for consolidation. You have to be really careful about the vendor or the supplier that you choose. I think we're probably going to see a lot of market consolidation, as things start to mature. So these are all things that you have to keep in mind.
Well, despite the hurdles that no doubt exist with the implementation of any new technology, you make a compelling case. Larry, I know that you're busy here at the forum, but you found time to speak to us about this important topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's Larry O'Brien, ARC Advisory Group, and speaking today with us about making your city smart. Thanks for watching.